So we're not doing a question of the day today. Today I want to be a little bit more transparent and kind of open up about the process here. Now I haven't done this for near as long as Tom or Z or anybody like that, but I've done nearly 300 reviews on the Dice Tower here, and I have a certain rhythm and cadence that I kind of flow into, and I kind of have a feel for when I look at a game, how I'm going to feel about a game. But usually I ask you to answer a question of the day, which is, what do you think about these types of games? And let me know in the comments. But the reason that I don't want to do that today is because I'm going to answer that question in a certain way. I'm just going to kind of pull back the curtain really quick. When I see a game, having done this 300 something times, when I see a game or when I read a rule book, I have a certain idea before I even play the game of how it's going to play. I have an idea that rarely, if ever, changes from playing games. One of the questions I've been asking recently is, when is your expectations completely changed when you played games? And I got some good answers from that. But usually, we get a lot of pitches, we get a lot of things like, hey, you got to check out this game, blah, 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 here's what it does. Well, when one comes across the desk, it's kind of very interesting sounding, but then sometimes you go, that sounds too good to be true. When this was pitched, this is the final Flicktier. This was picked, and it's been done before, but on Kickstarter, but this was pitched as a 4X game with flicking that really does involve the 4X elements, and it's still a flicking game. Instantly, I was interested, but I was also skeptical. I was thinking, how is this going to be possible? How are we going to get these elements in there without it feeling too much like a flicking game? Or is it going to feel too much like a resource management game that you don't actually flick for anything? So, all that being said, now that you've kind of heard my process about knowing what I expect ahead of time, let's dive in and talk about how this one plays first, how the final Flicktier plays, and then we'll come back up and talk final thoughts after all of this. Let's take a look right now. So here's the main play area of the final Flicktier. Essentially, you're going to set it up by putting these two neoprene mats together. You're going to take one of the resource tokens and randomly put them on each of the 8 planets that aren't the original home planets. If you're playing with the AI, you put it here, the 2 dice for it here on that section. All of your setup is based on player count. So a certain number of victory points based on player count, a certain number of mission cards based on player count. In a 3-player game, it's going to be 11 maybe it's 11 and 15 respectively. Then what you're going to do is everyone's going to get a different faction. There are some that it recommends. This also came with the expansion, but there are some recommended ones here. You're going to put one of the gray cubes on each of these sections. This is how you can upgrade your factions to make them a little bit stronger. You're going to put your tokens that go with your faction. I'll show you down here. I've got the purple faction, the Surge. They come with 2 of these hives and 7 of these hatcheries. Now they're all different. They're asymmetric in how they act. So that's kind of neat that you're not playing the exact same thing. You're also going to put the resource cards over there. These work as resources, but it's secret information because they also count as combat boosts on this side. So you do have that option. They're either a resource or a combat boost. You're going to spend resources to buy those buildings that we mentioned. Those are how you are able to upgrade by having resources. You spend to upgrade based on the cost that's listed in that square. So see, to upgrade here, you need 2 quantum. To upgrade here, you need 1 quantum, and you get better powers depending on how you upgrade. The cost for the actual buildings are up here around the buildings surrounding them, the actual things themselves. They're worth victory points at the end of the game. On your turn, you can do 2 actions. You can move, which would be essentially flicking one of your dice out there, and if you land on a planet, that's when you can do other actions. But if you're in the middle, you can't really do much else other than move. You can essentially you can gather if you had another ship out there. You can move, you can gather, which is where if you have ships or tokens, depending on what your faction is, tokens on these certain planets, you can gather resources based on what's on that planet. So you would gather quantum here, technology there, all that sort of stuff. You can move, and you can also attack. So if you want to attack someone else's ships, you would then set a hyperspace marker right behind theirs. Now let's just say I'm attacking from here. If I wanted to attack, I hit him and he stayed inside of the hyperspace token. Then you would take the cards that you played, compare the number on the top of the dice and the cards that you both played. Whoever has the higher number wins that battle. This would go back to their home territory. You would obviously win that battle. There's a couple little other perks that go along with winning that. You take a victory point token. you can only win a victory point token if you're the attacker. Now, had I knocked that person past the hyperspace token like this, essentially it would be representing them escaping, which means you can't just go in there and just slap the mess out of them. You have to kind of be careful and strategic about how you're going to flick them. You can also build, which is how you build the tokens that are on your card, be your colony or warp gate or whatever your planet is or your faction is. You can upgrade, which is how we talked about you moving those cubes up to get better powers. And you can also do missions. So there's mission cards up here. These mission cards are different things. They might be Explore, which now we would actually put an Explore token on sector A26, which is one of these right out here. Sector A26, which is way up there on the other end of the board. You can't even see it. It's actually on the very edge of the board. And what you do is you go land on that place, and when you're there, you explore it. And if you're there, you'll flip it open, flip it over, and take the amount of victory points listed on the back of it. So the other ones would be things like Deliver. You would go and deliver the technology to that planet. There are certain other mission cards that are Explore, Deliver. This one is have 3 ships of the same type on a planet. Away mission, have 3 ships off the playmat, which means you're flicking them out of there. Deliver, yet again, visit 2 new worlds. So the way it works is you can complete one of those mission cards based on what's showing. Those are public, then you flip them over, you can keep the points private. 3 ways the game ends is when someone builds all of their structures, either all the mission points are gone, all the mission cards are gone, or all the victory points are gone. That's how the game ends. You count victory points. Whoever has the most wins the game. 4x in an hour with dice.
So that's it. That is the final Flicktier. That's how it plays. That's what you do. That there is an expansion that some of you may or may not have called the Smugglers that you can check that out on your own. But really wanted to check out the final Flicktier and how to play it and really tell you what I think about it. First of all, let's talk components first because I want to get that out of the way. Really nice production. I actually like the neoprene mats. It looks good. The different alien races look really nice. I like how everything fits on the board really well. The individual alien buildings being different is a really cool touch. I'm a big fan of that. It kind of has that Twilight Imperium Cosmic Encounter feel when you actually have a differing look for your characters and a differing look for your resources and things like that on the board. That's always a plus for me. Visual representation of the planets is nice. The actual neoprene mat itself is nice because it helps things to slide without falling too far off the mat. The actual resource cards look good. The font and everything is very futuristic sci-fi, but it also, there are some things that clearly look like other games, like the resource queue or the trade goods cards look like Twilight Imperium. Whether that's a wink and nod or an homage or a pastiche, I'm all about it. Doesn't matter. I'm a big fan of that. The smuggler cards definitely have a slave one looking ship on the front, so a lot of love of the genre was put into this game. So presentation wise alone, this game looks very nice. It's packaged really well. I like the fact that you are using dice and the numbers of the dice do matter and they don't roll. You're kind of flicking them and they may or may not turn. So presentation is a plus. Mechanics. Here's the thing. When I heard the pitch, I thought, probably not, but we'll see how it does. After playing this, it really does accomplish its goal of feeling like a quick 4X game. I know that probably sounds like a paradox in itself. Feeling like a quick 4X game in which you are going out. The only one that's slightly weak is exploring because everything is known knowledge except for the exploration tokens that come out as part of mission cards. So yes, you are exploring by literally moving across the board, but it's all pretty much known information. So that's the only thing that's kind of tricky. You are exploring by moving across the galaxy. You are exploiting by taking the resources from the planets that you have a presence on. You're extinction. You're fighting other people. Whatever. The other one, I don't care what the other one is. The point is, you're doing all 4. My brain's just not working right now. But anyway, you're getting all the X's in there. You're doing all the things that would be involved with 4X games in a much quicker, tighter package. And the really cool thing is the movement is actual flicking. It's dexterity, but it's not a dexterity-based game. It's, man, I really need to carefully get onto that planet. But instead of going, okay, how many spaces can my ships move? It's, how many times can I flick this dice? Can I slow roll it and kind of tap it in? Just kind of 1, 2, 3, if you've upgraded it. Or can I go try to get all the way across the galaxy without flying off the back end? To me, that was the sticking point at first when I saw this. I thought there's no way this is going to work. When you get it to the table, you get lost in the fact that you are playing this kind of exploration, civilization style game in space, but the flicking is just a natural extension of it. It doesn't feel like a gimmick that you, oh, is this the flicking phase? It's not like that at all. It feels like a natural extension of the game that's on the table. And I really did not think I was going to be impressed by this, but I actually was very wowed by the game on the table. I would play this quite a lot, actually, just because you do get to go out there and explore and put your buildings out and expand your universe. There's one I missed. Expand your galaxy. Take these places, exploit them for resources, and you can leave a building here and take the resources from there. And then my aliens play different than your aliens, and your aliens play different than their aliens. It's just nice that they packed all of that into a 1 hour-ish type game that involves flicking, but also resource management and strategizing and then fighting. Do I want to fight now, or do I want to just hedge my bets and try to do this in a more peaceful way? You can talk and negotiate with each other if you really want to. Hey, please don't fight me. I will move out of your way, blah, blah, or I'll do this. There's all sorts of things to the game that can be done if you allow yourself to really get into it and enjoy it and not get caught up in the fact that, oh, you are flicking things, therefore this is a flicking game. It's not like that. It is a 4X game where the primary motivation for moving and the mechanic for moving is to flick across the board. That is cool because when you're trying to explore, that space is much smaller than a planet. That alone to me is really cool, that you're having to navigate and try to find this place on the map by flicking a much tighter spot than you would be if you were to flick and find a planet. To me, that's really cool. That's attention to detail. Really well done. So I can't say enough good things about the final Flicktier. If you can find a copy, go check this out. It is a really fun experience. It's not super deep. You're not going after any crazy sort of like 17-hour strategy sessions, but the mission cards change things. Your alien race changes things. So definitely go check this out. Final Flicktier is a great, really fun game. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Highly recommend this. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Dice Tower Brian for more video reviews that we've done here. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.